Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to Madison Reed's Hair Color House Party. It's the happy hour edition. It's 6 p.m. our time in California, 9 p.m. in the East Coast, and somewhere in between for the rest of you. We are so delighted that you're here with us. We're coming from all over the U.S., live from our bathrooms, from our kitchens, coming together as a community and coloring our hair together. Many of you have asked for this, and we are so excited to do this at this time. And for many of you, we know that coloring your hair, let's face it, you can get a little bit anxious, not sure if you can do it, and maybe you have a little bit of anxiety about it. But we are here to tell you at Madison Reed that we've got you. You can do this. As I look around, I see so many beautiful faces, and I know that many of you have raised children, navigated careers, and dealt with a whole bunch of challenges. And you know what? We believe you can absolutely color your own hair. We've gotten so much demand for these sessions, and we thought it would be a great way for all of us to learn together. And it's not just fun for us, it has a lot of meaning. Today, we are donating $1 for every single person in attendance, $1 to Wounded Warrior, because today is Veterans Day. So we want to make that contribution. We are also, for the first time, streaming this Hair Color House Party on Facebook so that even more women can learn from our colorists. And then finally, also news, this time we are doing a giveaway. At the end of this show, we're going to be randomly picking one lucky winner to get a free Radiant Hair Color Kit and a gloss. So stay tuned until the end when we reveal the lucky winner. All right, now, you all know that from the very beginning, Madison Reed has been about our colorists. 60% of our employees are colorists, and they are the backbone, the heart, and certainly the expertise of this company. And we are so fortunate to have 3 of our very best expert colorists with us today to teach you. They not only have years and years of experience coloring women's hair, they also have years of experience educating women on how to color their hair at home. And with that, I'd love to introduce you to our trio today of amazing colorists that are with us. First, we have Susan.
Hi from Texas, everyone.
We are so delighted to have Susan. Susan has 25 years of hair coloring experience, which means that she started doing hair color at the age of 5. And a fun fact about Susan is that she is not just an amazing colorist, she's also a formulator. And she is the individual that formulated our over 55 shades of gorgeous hair color. So welcome, Susan. Next up, we have Siobhan.
Hey, everyone. Welcome.
Siobhan has been coloring hair for 17 years. And a fun fact about Siobhan is I like to call her, she is our colorist's colorist. And what that means is that she is the expert at Madison Reed who trains all of our colorists on how to apply, use Madison Reed hair color. So she is a huge resource to the many colorists we have out in all of our national color bars regarding Madison Reed color. So welcome, Siobhan. And then finally, for the star of the show today, I want to introduce you to Krista.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Krista has 10 years of experience as a professional colorist. Krista has played many, many roles with us at Madison Reed. She was our very first New York-based colorist at our pop-up in Manhattan. She then moved to San Francisco and worked at our Mission Color Bar, then Hayes. She's now on our headquarters team as a senior colorist. So welcome, Krista. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Siobhan that has some housekeeping for us.
Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. I'll make this brief, just a couple little housekeeping how-tos here. So if you've been to a house party before, you know, and if this is a first time, we'll give you a little tutorial. We do take live Q&A. We want this to be really conversational and involve you every step of the way. So we'll try to take questions direct from the audience as we go. So if you would like to ask a question with us live, here's how to do that. Well, Susan will tell you how to do it, but what we do need you to do so that we can call on you is to rename yourself. So to do that, in the little box that you're in, there's 3 dots, and you can click there and go to rename. Now, Heidi mentioned earlier that we are having a drawing for some free product. If you want to be called on as a winner, we need to be able to pull the first and last name. The number's got to coincide with the first and last name, because lots of us have the same first name. So rename yourself, either first and last or first name, last initial, and then we'll call on you that way. The other big favor that we have to ask is, because there's more of you than us, if you do have a question, try to think of your most important question, because we can only take 1 question per person, unfortunately. So as you're sitting there kind of thinking about what you want to ask, just think, if this is my 1 question to ask, this is the winner. And then we'll take as many of you as we can. And I think that's it for me. Susan, will you tell everyone how to get in the queue?
Yes, marvelous. And I can see that Natalie's already raised her hand. So I know that we have at least 1 person that's ready to go.
Yeah.
So what you need to do to get into the queue to ask a question live for Siobhan and I and Krista, click on participants and then click raise hand, which is on the right-hand side, the lower right-hand side. So what we'll be doing is muting everyone so that we can make sure that everybody can hear clearly. When you come to ask your question, we're going to call on you. Again, we're going to need your name to do that, and we're going to ask to unmute you. So let's get on, because Krista's got something very exciting to show us and very exciting to tell us, because this is something that lots and lots of people ask about. And that's why we've decided to bring it to you live today. So Krista, take it away, darling. Show us what you got.
Great. Hi, everyone. So I'm really excited to do this demo today. We get a lot of questions about how do I cover my roots, or how do I do my gray hair without, destroying my highlights? Because I know a lot of us do get highlights and have lighter ends. So I am that person. This is my exact routine. So I get highlights, maybe a few times a year, but I do my roots every 3 weeks or so. So I proved that it's possible to, do your roots, but keep your highlights nice and bright. So there's no reason to darken everything while you're just trying to cover those grays. So I'm going to show you tonight how to get in there and really just get some great gray coverage.
Perfect. And Krista, can you do us the favor of showing us that beautiful gray stripe?
Oh, of course.
Of yours.
That, of course. So I can't see it at the moment. I do a great job with some powder. Underneath, you will see.
Ooh, get closer, please, darling.
Yep.
So you're probably also noticing I don't do the back as often. Because that's all right, no big deal. So I tend to do the around my face and my part line every 3 weeks, and then the back every couple months I'll get in there and do that. But yeah, and this is the wonderful kit that everything comes in. So it has everything you need. And tonight I will be using the Lucia Dark Blonde 8.5 NNA. So the first.
So Krista, how long have you been, while you're sort of getting yourself set up? I know you have barrier cream and all this to go through, but will you just give us a little history while you're doing that on when did you go gray? How long have you been coloring? What's sort of your gray coverage story?
Yeah, so I went gray fairly early. Both my parents did as well, so I knew it was coming, but around 30, 31 is when I was really starting to cover my grays pretty often, 4 to 6 weeks. And like I said, now it's about 3 to 6. But I like to keep my hair blonde. So even if I am just doing my roots, I'll tend to choose a color that is slightly deeper, or sometimes I'll do an even darker brunette color, but always kind of keep my ends nice and bright.
Perfect. Love it.
So Krista, while you're setting up there, because I know that you've got a few things to do, let's just talk a little bit, Siobhan, about how the questions that lots of people do ask. And I think there's some questions that we always get. We've done these house parties a few times now, and every time's a little bit different, which is cool. So one of the questions that we're always asked is, does my hair have to be clean or dirty when I come to cover it? So Krista, tell us, when did you last wash your hair? Would you wash it in the morning, or
actually,
would you?
No, great question. My hair is actually I washed it about 3 days ago. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So the answer to that question then is, it's probably best not to have super clean hair. actually you probably notice that your hair is easier to deal with when it's not super clean. So that helps with sectioning, which is what Krista's working on right now. But also, if the hair is dirty, that does help to protect your scalp a little bit from the color. And that's what we generally will tend to advise in the salon, for sure. I'll tend to do that with my clients. What about, is it okay to wash your hair directly after color? Because that is a question that we do get. So what would you say to that then, Krista?
Yes, definitely. So I always wash my color out right away with shampoo after I'm done coloring.
Yeah, that is a little bit of sort of like a beauty urban myth, right? Just rinse and then condition. But
Right.
absolutely, especially for scalp health, it is a good idea to go through the full shampoo, condition, and it's going to be in your kit for you. So that's a good cue there.
I think the thing about what we do at Madison Reed is we really try and make it as simple as possible for you. So we give you all the things that you're going to need actually right there in your kit. So you've got some shampoo there. It's pretty safe to say if it's there, then go ahead and use it. And one of the reasons why we like to recommend that we shampoo after color, and not everybody does, so, and that's fine because it's a different product. But one of the reasons why we like to do that is because it really makes sure that all of the color goes from your head and from your hair. And that's what we like to make sure at Madison Reed. So you're doing a good job there with the barrier cream, aren't you, my darling?
Thank you.
Krista, will you talk us through a little bit of on the skin, not the hair here for best coverage?
Good point. Very important, because you can see I do have some grays right along my hairline that I want to make sure they're covered. So I'm being pretty mindful to get the barrier cream just on my skin, as close as I can to my hair, but not on the hair, because that's gonna, it could cause a barrier for the color. So you just want to be mindful about that.
And that's definitely a thing to note, because we've all got grays right on the hairline, right? And those are
exactly, and they're the most stubborn ones too. The ones that are living right along the hairline. There's the ones with the most attitude. They poke right up. They don't want to cover. So you want to give the color a fighting chance there.
Right. So now I'm gonna start to mix my color. And you can see I've sectioned my hair. So I will say for someone that's blonde or has lighter ends, it's very important to kind of keep yourself organized. So I think even though I look silly right now, it's very helpful for when you're doing this, because you're really just wanting to get the root. So I think, again, being organized with your hair is worth it to get the right coverage you need.
And Krista, while you're shaking that up, I know we have a lot of clients and friends on this call right now who have shorter layers, like really short layered haircuts or even pixie cuts.
Yeah.
This whole sectioning thing, if your hair is really short, you know it's not going to stay where you put it. That's just the rule of short hair. You section it, it moves right back where it was. So if that's the case for you, section as you go, meaning when you put your color on the root, you can use your bottle to do that work, or use the weight of the color to hold those sections down. You know, Krista's technique with the clips, that's usually for folks with maybe chin length or longer. So if your hair is super short and you're having a frustrating time with the clips, just ditch them. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Great. So you can also see I'm wearing a button-down smock. Any sort of button-down is perfect for this, because you just want to make sure you can easily take it off before you rinse it out. And I'm going to get my gloves on here. And I've also kind of opened all my packets here, just so I'm ready. So I had my barrier cream open. There's a little cleansing wipe. I'm just going to open that. It's just handy to do these things before, while your gloves are not on.
And Krista, have you done anything about protecting the space around you? Because I know that some people often will ask us, do you put towels down? Do you put stuff on the floor?
I do have one towel down, but usually I don't really, it comes off my counters pretty easily if I get any. So I really don't, besides a towel on the floor here.
Okay, Krista, will you do me a favor and just, I think you're about to start with your first section. Will you take one big step closer to the camera?
Sure.
Just like, yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right, so I have my color, I'm ready to go. I'm going to start my first side here. And it's really important for me as well to really kind of start along the hairline, because that is where I want to see the most coverage, where I can see it. So my part line and around my face, I'm just going to get in there first, and really quite a lot. So it's almost like a frosting or, you know, cream cheese. You really want to see that color, because that's how we know it's going to keep all those little gray hairs down, get them colored.
Yeah, I'll do a little myth buster here. Sometimes we hear clients voice concern that if they use too much of the product, like if they put it on too thick, the color will come out too dark. And rest assured, one has nothing to do with the other. The thicker, the better for gray coverage, especially if you have resistant gray or coarse hair, you know that you can put color on it and the hair will almost rise up or revert back and pop up right out of the color. Weighing that hair down, like really smothering that on, is going to give you better gray coverage. Yeah, so don't be afraid to go for it.
You're almost doing kind of pages of a book there, aren't you, with your sections? And you're keeping them really quite slim. Is there a method to your madness, darling?
Yes. So I do like to take thinner sections. You can see here, you can almost see through it. Kind of, you know, you just want to make sure you can almost read through the hair a little bit. And then I am thinking about it as almost like these are the pages of the book, and then my roots are the spine. So the spine is what we really want to see saturated. And I'm also being really mindful not to pull it down too far, because I really want to keep my blonde. I'm really just focusing on getting my gray covered. So only like, you know, maybe an inch or so out, and then I stop.
And the other thing too that's great about the bottle application, Krista's going to show us two things. She's going to show us bottle and the bowl and brush. But what I love about this bottle is when Krista's using that nozzle to separate her sections, it's not dripping. So the bottle doesn't drip any product until you squeeze it out. So it's no mess. There's no accidents waiting to happen. She's totally in control and it's nice and neat. Almost totally in control, right?
Don't need to be too perfect, right?
Yeah, there you go.
What I love about using the bottle, because I like to use the bottle when I color my own hair as well, is that it can be like a sectioning tool as well as an application tool. And I can see what you're doing there, Krista, is you're actually touching your scalp with the nozzle as you're squidging the color out. Squidging is a technical term, I think, and getting that color on your root. So it really does help to, because most of the time we do it by feel when we're doing our own hair, and that's absolutely fine because you can't see, especially when it comes to the back. So by using the bottle and touching that on your scalp, it's really easy to know where you are and to know where you've got to, so that you can be accurate with your application.
Okay, now I'm going to switch over to brush and bowl for all of you that use this. Again, not necessary, but if you like doing it this way, that's great. I, you know, of course, was trained this way, so I do prefer it, but any way works. Any way works well. So again,
we're going to have Krista do her first couple sections here, and then once she's done a couple sections on this side, we're going to take our first question, because I know some of you are anxiously awaiting some info. So Krista, what do you like? Can you give us the rundown of what you like about the bowl and brush versus using the bottle? Why do you have a preference?
Yeah, I guess sometimes I feel like, especially with the end of this brush here, I can really get like nice and even parts, and even sometimes even smaller. So I just feel like I have a little bit more control using the brush and bowl. I'm also really, you can see I can kind of stop short here, which is what I want. I don't want to take it down. So I feel like that also gives me a lot of control over what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that's key, especially, you know, if you are a frequent root toucher-upper, new growth toucher-upper, and you're putting permanent color on your hair every few weeks, maybe every 3 or 4, you don't want to take that color down too far. Lots of us get what we call banding, which is, you know, your color's beautiful from the scalp a couple inches down, but, you know, around the middle to the ends, it gets kind of dark, inky. that's from too much permanent color overlapping over and over again. And, you know, so doing that pull through too many times. And I think focusing it just at the new growth like this really, really helps you stay out of that danger zone. And I think the brush can be helpful there.
I would totally agree with that, Siobhan. What I would also say is noticing what you're doing, Krista, you're actually keeping the brush really clean. And in fact, this is a pro tip, if you like, because this is something that I know, Siobhan, you're really hot on when you teach colorists. And oftentimes when I'm teaching my clients how to do their own hair, I'll say to them, okay, if you're going to use a brush, pick the product up with your brush and then wipe it off and pull a little bit. So it's just through the ends of the brush, and then you can pop it on your hair. And that's particularly important when you are doing, say, a 3-week regrowth, because sometimes we need to do that. We need to touch our hair up when it's only been a little while. Or you might just be doing the hairline and parting, and you need to keep it very controlled. That's where I think a bowl and brush is really excellent.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so really quickly, Krista's going to keep on doing this side. We did get a question from our Facebook Live audience, so I want to talk about that question. And then Krista, will you do me a favor and not move to the back until we do our participant question, because I want to point some stuff out for everyone. So let's see what our Facebook question was, is what is the shade that Krista is using? So she is using a dark blonde for maximum gray coverage called Lucia Dark Blonde, and it's 8.5 NNA. And what you're also going to see us move into is on those highlighted ends where she doesn't want any permanent color, she's going to use a nice translucent gloss called Crema, C-R-E-M-A, and we'll talk you through that when she gets there. But that's the key to keeping the ends shiny and pretty and bright and not over darkening. So that's for my Facebook Live friend. And now let's take someone from our Zoom call. Okay, Gigi, I'm going to ask to unmute you, so you'll have to unmute in a sec. Oop. Hi, Gigi. I'll try it. I'm going to try again. Oh.
Hi,
Gigi,
can you hear me?
I think I heard you for just a second. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just I have a basic question.
Sure.
I've always used the bottle application, and I have the bowl and the brush.
Mhm.
So typically when I do my color, I'm mixing it in the bottle and then applying from the bottle. So it, you know, it's a silly question, but if you're going to use the bowl, do you still mix it in the bowl and just, mix it in the bottle and just pour it in the bowl?
This is not a silly question, and I'm going to tell you, here at the pro level, we even don't necessarily agree on this one. This is a preference thing. Susan would put all her activator in her color tube in the bowl and mix it with the tint brush. That's totally fine, and that's what's actually done in most salons, is we mix that way. What I like to do, since you have the bottle, is I like putting the tube in the applicator, the activator bottle, shake it, and then dump it into the bowl. I just like the consistency when I shake it in the bottle. So either way, as long as you're getting it really well mixed up and no clumpies, you're totally good to go. So that's your preference all the way.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
It
Kinda?
does.
Okay.
Thank you for
Perfect.
doing these house parties. It really helps us home colorists here.
Oh my God, it's our pleasure. We love it. This is the highlight of our week. I'll tell you, as colorists, we love hanging out with our clients live like this. So you're making our night too. Thank you so much.
So true. It's always a happy hour when we're talking about color, right?
A very happy hour. That's right. Okay. Krista, do you want to? Yeah.
Yes. So I'm ready for the back.
Oh, this is a big one.
So it's probably not going to be perfect, which I'm totally cool with. It doesn't have to be perfect for me, but I'm just gonna kind of do the same thing, kind of outline my section and then work my way down. I'll just kind of show you. So again, just kind of feeling my way around here. You can feel kind of the coolness of the color on my part.
Krista, do us one favor. Can you take one little step back? Yep, there it is. Perfect. That looks good. It looks like you have eyes in the back of your head, even though you don't.
Awesome. So now I'm just, again, kind of feeling where I just made a part and just squeezing a little bit of the color in.
And then put your chin up a little so we can see, yeah, that you're going horizontally.
Yeah.
So she's using the nozzle of the bottle, now that she has this little quadrant in the back, to go horizontally across the back from side to side. And that really helps because that is something that you can actually feel the action of. Like rather than just taking pieces of hair and moving them out of your way, doing this in nice lines, it really helps you stay organized, feel where the color is and where it is not. And the nozzle will help with that. But as you can see, I mean, really, she's doing it by feel.
Yes.
We get this question so often. How can I make sure I'm getting every hair in the back? You really can't. We don't. You just do your best with getting it on in those little sections and then massaging it in with your fingertips after. That's going to be sort of your double checking yourself there.
So, and I think, I mean, we can all see that while Krista was very accurate with her application at the front, at the back, not so much. But the one thing that you don't need to be concerned about is this, even as a blonde. And that's because when you are blonde, at the back of your head, it really shouldn't be as light as at the top of your head. So if it does go a little bit further down the hair shaft at the back than it is at the front, that's absolutely fine because it actually makes it look a little bit more natural or believable. The only place that you really need to worry about it being just on the natural hair, which is what we call the root, is where it's right at the very top and also just at the crown here, because that's where people see. So if you just put your chin up for a second, Krista, for us, and we can see just at the top, we can actually see there that there isn't quite so much color through there as there is through the very underneath. And that's absolutely fine. So we don't need to be super accurate with this. In actual fact, it's better if it's not. Just make sure that there's plenty of product because that's where we're going to get the gray coverage.
Yeah.
Okay, Krista, as you move on to your second back section, Susan, do you want to take another audience question?
Oh, I do. Dina Lempert, I'm going to ask to unmute you, darling. And are you there? Are you there, my love? Dina.
Unmute. I mute? Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. These are terrific. I did this when I tried it the first time, which was the beginning of COVID stuff. So, and I had never done it, and I've done it a second time. But my question to make this is, I used Ferenz the first time. I always had an auburn hair, so I used Ferenz. It was not enough red, I thought, so I talked to a specialist who was great, one of the colorists. And I decided to use a little bit of Portofino and put that a little bit in. So I mixed it.
Ooh,
So it gave me a little more red. I took an ounce out, or a teaspoon out and put another teaspoon in. I mean, it worked.
fantastic.
But the only thing is, was a little dark for me. So I worked this time. I'm going to be using Como light brown.
Oh,
My question is, since it's an all over thing, and since I'm going a little lighter, I had always done the 35 minutes or so, take this, the top and things, and then did the roots for the last 15 or something, give or take, and that
Yes.
worked out fine. My question is, since this is lighter than what I've had now, should I still do that, or do I just put it all over, at the first time?
Excellent
Because, and I
question.
haven't done my hair in about 8 weeks, which it would, if you could see it better, it would be easy to tell.
Fabulous. Okay, so this is a great question, Dina, because a lot of people are wanting to do this, very often when your hair's permanently colored, what you'll want to do is maybe go a little bit lighter. And that's absolutely fine to do that as long as it's not too light. And the reason why is because the permanent color that you're going to use won't lighten what's on the ends. So if the ends have been darkened, then they won't go lighter with permanent color. They will only go darker. Okay.
Whoops.
So that's no problem because you're actually not doing a huge change. And I can't see your hair super well from because
Yeah, it's
it's
well, this is the Portofino, but
okay, cool. So what I would say probably is this, that you depending on how much gray you have with using the Como, what you'll find is that your roots may be a little bit lighter. So, but that's probably okay as long as the ends have lightened a bit since it was colored. So usually what happens is that hair color fades. It will with everyone. And so we leave those ends out. We only put the color on the roots. Now, sometimes what we'll do is if we're planning on going a little bit lighter, like you are, is we might do, and I'm only suggesting this because you've already told me you're quite adventurous, so it's not for everyone. So if you have any leftover color, which is a little bit darker, you can mix that in with your Como. And then the next time you can go for the Como. I'm thinking that you'll probably be fine because if it's been 8 weeks since it was colored, then your hair's probably lightened on the ends anyway, in which case you'll be good to go. I can't hear you, my love. Oh, let's see. I think we, are you there? You're
so
there.
I have the Portofino left.
Okay.
So should I mix that like a teaspoon of that and take out a teaspoon of the other?
You know, the Portofino, yes, you absolutely could do that. That's quite red. The Como is a little bit more kind of mahogany. So what I might get you to do, because I don't want to be recommending anything without actually seeing your hair, is to get you to send a photo, wait till the end, and then we'll have an email address at the end. And this goes for anybody who's got maybe a more complex question, a little bit like yours, Dana. And then we can go ahead and give you a specific consultation just for you.
Okay,
does that make
thank
sense?
You. No, that's great.
I think that will be fine, but without actually seeing your hair, I wouldn't want to, you know, stake my reputation on it at this stage. Thank you so much, Dana. Brilliant question.
Susan, thank you so much for bringing that up because I totally forgot to tell you all at the beginning of this, we take these questions live here. And if you don't get an opportunity to ask your question, at the very end, there's going to be a slide that shows you an email address. That email address comes directly to me. So if you don't get your question answered here, email us at the end of the show or the next coming days, and you and I will chat and do personalized consultations. And then that way I can take your photos and all of that. So sorry, I forgot to mention that. But yeah, we do have backup for questions. Okay, Krista, show us what your plan is for your mid-lengths and ends.
Okay, so I'm going to be using our Crema Gloss. So basically it's a violet toned gloss that helps me with kind of the unwanted yellow tones that I get as a blonde. It's pretty common. And so this is great to use, you know, I use it every like 2 to 3 weeks just to keep my ends refreshed. And this is, you know, this is not a science. So I'm just kind of putting it on anywhere I'm seeing my hair that's still dry, that doesn't have color on it. And again, it is violet toned, but don't be scared. It's awesome. It kind of just boosts up that blonde. So your hair will not be purple. Don't worry about that.
So the one thing I'd just like to interject here is that the timer for the permanent color has started. So the clock started to tick, hasn't it, Krista?
Yes. So I like to do 45 minutes only because I know my gray is pretty stubborn. So I do like to do 45.
And that is a question that we're often asked. When do I set my timer for the permanent color? So the answer to that question is you set your timer when you've finished the application on the roots. that's when the timer needs to go on. And it's easier if you have like a hands-free timer. So you can sometimes ask Siri or Alexa if you've got her handy. So tell us about the gloss. Why have you chosen gloss to put onto the ends of your
So
hair?
I had chosen gloss for a couple of reasons. Number one is I never, I never pulled a permanent color through my hair just because I like to keep my highlights intact. So I don't want my hair to get any darker. So the glosses are a great way to refresh the ends. It's not permanent, which is wonderful. And it kind of helps, again, like I mentioned, my hair gets a little bit yellow being blonde. So this kind of helps neutralize those tones.
Excellent. I think the one thing that I love about gloss is it almost is like a lip gloss for hair. So it's very sheer. You're really not getting a huge amount of color. You can't do anything wrong, right? Because there's no activity going on. You're really just laying that color like a tinted shine shield on your hair. And although what Krista's doing right now kind of looks a bit scary, right? What's happening is that color will be lying on the hair, and because it actually, appearances apart, is a very light shade specifically for blondes, so it targets those brassy tones that Krista has in her hair and that all blondes get, and makes it look a very kind of clean and polished look. And this is what hairdressers, colorists use in the salon. This is how you get that look. It's a salon secret. Super simple, and now you can do it at home. This is a great way to add shine and add a little bit of tone, just like lip gloss, through those ends and those lengths. So you can help the condition, you can help the shine, you can help the color all in one go. And I think that's why you really like it, right, Krista?
Yes, I love this. Not only do I love the crema, but I also love using my Perla Color Therapy mask in the shower. So I put this on my hair a few times a week for about 5 minutes in place of my conditioner. And it kind of does, it's like a maintenance product. It kind of helps keep those tones away that I don't love.
So what does that look like then, Krista?
The color.
Can you work it for us?
Yes, yes. Very purple. It's well used because I love it. But
yes, I think anybody who's blonde loves a bit of violet, right? And you're not averse to violet yourself, are you, Krista?
Not at all.
Yeah, I think it's, lately purple shampoos, purple conditioners, anything with violet have become really super popular with blondes. And the way that I kind of, describe the gloss that Chris is using right now is it's sort of like a purple shampoo on steroids, right? Because it goes on, you can leave it on for 20 to 35 minutes, depending on how intense of the results you want to see, and then just wash it right off. And you can see how she's applying this. Like she said, not scientific. This is a different beast than permanent color where you need to be a bit more exacting and get each gray. This is that like gel consistency. It spreads really easily. It doesn't have to hit every hair. So you can use this in tandem with your roots, just like Chris is doing, roots, gloss, one shot. Or you can do this in between coloring when your hair just needs a little pick-me-up. It just needs a little more vibrancy and shine and tone, and you can use it a la carte. And it's great that way too. And no mixing, no fuss, straight out of the tube. And this also, we talk a lot about our ingredients at Madison Reed being ammonia-free, no parabens, no PPD, no resorcinol. That is true of every single product in the line, like full stop. So the permanent color, the gloss, celiac safe, no gluten or gluten derivatives in all the products. So that's true for the color therapy mask she just showed, gloss, and permanent color. Okay, really quickly, I'm rambling on about ingredients because I love talking about that, but we did get a question to remind us how to ask a question. So how to do it is click down at the bottom of the screen if you're on the Zoom call where it says participants, and then you'll see a little icon for raise hand, right? So and then we go in and we can see the queue. So we're calling on everybody who's been waiting longest down to most recent. So having said that, we should probably get going because there's a lot of you with questions. Krista, you're just emulsifying through mids and ends, doing your thing.
Yes, I'm about to put my cap on and hang out.
Beautiful. Okay. So Krista's going to do that. Let's hang out with some question askers. So give me one quick second. Okay, Deborah Krupp, I'm going to ask to unmute you. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, I'm actually going to turn my camera on too,
Okay, great.
I think. Can you see it? Not yet? Wait, till you
Hey,
see.
technology.
Wait, oh, I'm going in the wrong, I'm trying to, how do I do that? Help. I'm looking at the camera. Yikes.
Do you on the bottom of your
Oh,
screen?
I see it. I see it. I see it.
There we go.
Ah,
Hey, there you are.
Okay.
Hi, Deborah.
Yeah, hi. So I sent my question in advance. It's different.
Okay, let's hear
I
it.
don't want to cover my grays right now. I
Okay.
want to try something new. You can
Okay.
see the color that I've been doing, and I've been
Yes.
shocked during this COVID thing to learn out that I've got a ton of white.
There it
So
is.
my question is, can one like me, kind of, you know how you always like you do highlights? Can I make this part low lights and kind of blend it, taper it in with the white so that I make the darker part of my hair not brown, but what it would be as a dark, haired woman with gray. There's variations in gray. In other words,
Yeah.
I want to look naturally gray. Salt and pepper. That's what I want to look like.
Yes.
So I want to try it anyway.
Yeah.
Might buy the whole thing red afterwards. But salt and pepper. And how could I do that with a home kit?
Okay. Okay. Love it. Love the question. So, but it's sort of a two-pronged answer, and I'm going to give you the abbreviated version because of the medium of the
Yes.
call, and then please email me and we can get really detailed.
Will
But so
do.
here's the two answers. There's two ways that you can do it. You can either take this down here that has color on it and try to get some of that a little lighter by using, for instance, something like our Lightworks balayage kit. That's going to break up the line, lightening some of this, and then you'll start to get, rather than the line, you'll have a little bit more of a soft meld from gray to kind of a blondish and then some old color, and that'll give you a nice soft grow out. So option number one, highlight the old color to blend in with the roots. Option number two, take some permanent color like the light brown, kind of faded brown that you have down here.
Yeah.
And you can take little pieces and low light it, bring the color. You can see me, right? And what I'm doing.
Yeah, I
with my
see you.
hand?
I see you.
Okay, bring that color up. So you're giving yourself some darker pieces that weave their way up. Now,
Right.
this is pro tip. This is not, you're not going to find this in our normal like PDF instructions. So you're going to need to be a little creative here, because to get this color up here without getting all over everything else, you're going to need to wrap it in a little bit of foil, just
Yeah.
like they do with the salon.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When you're doing this at home, I do this with my own hair when I low light it. You don't have to make those perfect packets. You can take a piece of hair, take your fingers or a tint brush, get the
Yep.
color on, and
Yep.
then literally wrap it in a piece of foil and let it hang there like a little antenna.
Yeah.
Don't have to be perfectionistic about that folding. All you want to do is get some of the pieces woven in so that you can break up that line.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do it. It's doable.
I don't want this reddish brown anymore, though. I was hoping to get something that was pepper. You
We
know,
can, okay. We do have something that just occurred to me that where you may benefit from our new men's line, but that's something that we should talk about offline because it's going to be a little bit of a tutorial. But
Very
please
good.
email me when we show the
Okay.
thing and we'll talk. Thank you. That
Okay.
was a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
excellent.
Okay.
That was a wonderful
Susan?
question, Deborah. So I think, Paula, you've been waiting for a while, my darling. Paula Hart, I'm going to ask to unmute you. Can you hear me and can we hear you? Are you unmuted, my love? Hello, Paula. Hello, Paula. There we go. Paula.
Yes, can I just say I absolutely love Anna. She has helped me so much when COVID first started. And I don't really have any questions. I'm learning a lot about the color process and how to do it. And I did like to hear about the crema gloss because I've just been using either Prosecco or the regular. And I think that's too dark for me. But I just want to say thank you to all of you. You guys are amazing. I love my girl Anna, and this has been such a treat watching you all tonight.
Oh my goodness, Paula, are you talking about Anna at Flatiron in Manhattan?
I believe so. Honest to God, like she was my savior. I was gonna order the wrong color because I'm a dark brown, and I was gonna order the wrong color for myself, and I questioned myself, and I called her. She spent like an hour on the phone with me, had me send
I love
pictures.
it.
Yeah, I cannot say enough about her, and I am just so blessed that I found her. And I just want to say thank you to you guys, because you have been such a savior through this COVID time, and I'm just so grateful I found you guys.
Wow, we're going to be talking about that all night after this.
Yes,
Paula,
thank you.
come back next week because Anna's going to be our model. So you're going to actually get to hang out with her. I know, I usually don't announce that, but I just couldn't help myself because she, but yeah, she'll be live from New York on Wednesday night. So yeah, please come back next week and watch.
Fantastic. Thanks, Paula, so much. So should we take a question from Lisa's iPhone? Because I think Lisa's next in line, right?
Yes.
Lisa's iPhone, can we unmute you? Let's see. How's it going? Lisa, are you there? Are you there, Lisa? I'm going to ask to unmute you. You might have to try and unmute yourself. Lisa? Lisa's not...
Should we circle back to Lisa?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take Julia. Can we unmute you? Julia Martinez. There we are.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, how are you, ladies?
Hi, how are you?
This is my first time. I've never used Madison Reed, although I've done some research and I would like to try it. I usually color my hair like an auburn, going into the reddish side because I've always liked to be red-headed. But my hair is like 90% gray already. And my roots are really, really stubborn. I tried to color it, and even in the salon, I tried to go a little bit lighter, and my roots turned orangey. How can I fix that? Because I have this one now, and this is dark, but this is not the color that I want. I want like an auburn color. How can I do that? If it's doable.
Okay, so I would like to talk to you about that, because one of the things that I think you would really benefit from is to use a product that we call Prime for Perfection. And what that is a product that helps to lighten your hair, because I can see that you've got lots of color on the ends of your hair. So I think that the overview would be keep your roots dark because you've got this beautiful texture. What I always recommend to my clients who have that type of texture is that they keep some lightness in there, because where your hair really comes alive is where you've got that little bit of lightness. So you've got something that kind of has a bit of play. Because your hair is so resistant, because it's white, the natural inclination is to throw lots of color at it and have it be really, really dark. And I would say to you, okay, you can do that at the roots and you're going to have to. But when it comes to the ends, particularly if you want some warmth in there, what you're going to be better off doing is allowing those ends to lighten. And that's what this is going to help you to do. So Prime for Perfection, it's like a gel. It's quite runny. What you do is you put that just through the lengths of your hair where you want to lighten it. And you might need to give it a couple of goes, super gentle. It's not bleach. What it's going to do is it'll get your hair a little bit lighter. Part of the reason why you can't see red in there is because it's so dark. So I would tell you, okay, through the roots, I would recommend for you to use something like a 4.5 NN or a 5.5 NNN. And I have to look the names up for you because I'm a colorist and we don't use the names always. So that would be Barletta or Modena, depending on how dark you want to be. So I would use that on your roots. You're going to get great root coverage, put plenty on, you know what to do. Having done the ends and let those lighten, I would then use exactly what you've seen Krista do and use the gloss, color reviving gloss, and I would use Barolo is the color that
Not the one that she used.
Not the one she used, because that's too light for you. What you need is the Barolo.
Okay, great.
So what I would do is hang off until the end, and there's an email there. There'll be an email for you. Just shoot Siobhan an email and she can confirm that for you. But I think that that's probably going to be the best, don't you, Siobhan?
Yeah, I love that. I think that that's great, because what you'll be able to do is now for you, Julia, I think 2-step process, get that gray covered, all the things that we've said, nice and thick, consistency of icing, leave it on 45 minutes. Everybody who's on the call, who's listening, our permanent color goes at a range of 35 minutes to 45, depending on, you know, how attitudey the gray is, how resistant it is, how likely it is to take color. If you've got a lot of hair, thick hair, really coarse gray hair, 45 is going to be your magic number. It's not going to get too dark. Nothing's going to happen. That's all kind of urban legend about hair color. So that beautiful brunette, and then the gloss she's talking about is like red wine. It's so beautiful. So that's going to be great for you. That's going to be great. So yeah, email us and we'll take it over. So we have Elle up next for a question. I'm going to ask to unmute you in just a second, but before I do, I want to pop back over to Krista. And Krista, can you step forward and show us into the camera the placement of your plastic cap?
Sure. So if you can see, I'm just kind of having it.
Yeah, go for it. I won't talk over you. Sorry.
I'm just trying to get as close as I can to my hairline.
So the plastic cap that comes in the kit is meant to help protect your clothes, protect your furniture, so you can put that on, sit and watch Netflix and not, get color drips everywhere. That's one use of it. But the second use, and the most important use, and not everybody knows this, is that plastic cap helps to trap in your body heat from your scalp. If you've ever had your color done in a salon and sat under a heater, we don't do that at home, right? And we don't recommend that with our product. So how are you going to heat up those roots and get them cooking and to really soften and take that color? Trapping in the heat that comes right off your scalp. So don't throw the plastic cap away. It really is functional. Please use it. It's going to help. And then be mindful to keep it right on the hairline, not down here. If it goes across your forehead, color can drip down and start giving you staining. So yeah, that's a perfect cap application. Okay, Elle, I'm coming over to ask to unmute you. Hi.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Okay. Good. Just a quick question about the gloss. When Krista was putting it on, so the top is permanent. This is not permanent. This is semi-permanent, or it's just washable, washes out.
Correct. Yes, exactly. The answer is yes. It is not permanent. It is semi-permanent. It does wash out, and it washes out gradually, and it comes out in 6 to 8 shampoos. Okay. So what's cool about it is, so you're covering your root covered, and then you've got your seamless transition into your gloss. That fades out sort of day by day. So what's great is you're not getting a harsh line of demarcation. It's gradually leaving the scene, and then you'll know it's not as shiny as it once was. It doesn't have that much tone. And then for you, Elle, because of the length of your hair, you'll probably get like 4 uses out of a tube of gloss. So keep that around and just throw it on every couple weeks for 20 minutes, and it'll boost your color.
Great. Thanks so much.
Yeah, really good question. Good question. Okay.
Great. So I think we've got time for one more.
Okay.
Can we take Sue WW? Sue WW. Where are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Sue.
I can hear you.
Hello. I want to tell you that I have had salon color for years, with the start of the pandemic, I started looking at other options. I was scared to death, and I've had nothing but compliments. People love my color much more since I've been doing it myself. So I'm absolutely delighted. The one question I do have, the color is great at coloring dark roots, but around my hairline, I'm finding not gray, but actually almost white hair. Is there something I should be doing getting better coverage or some way to mask that?
So Sue, you're join the club. We're all there, right there with you. My front hairline is almost completely white, so don't be frightened. The one thing that you can do is to make sure that you're using plenty of color. So put lots of color on, put it on twice, put it on 3 times, put it even on 4 times. Make sure that you can actually see the color, not the hair. And by doing that and doing it successively, you will find that the hair will cover better for sure. There may be a change in formulation that sometimes can happen as you start to get grayer. It sounds to me like you're not at that point yet if you've just got a couple of kind of, strays that you want to really zap. So I would do that first. There are a few other techniques. Leaving it longer is great. Using the cap is also great. So I would certainly probably, especially if you seem to be so happy with the color and it's working so well for you, which is marvelous to hear, I would tend to try those first. So plenty of color, don't be shy, put it on once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It can't be too much. Leave it longer. So that 45 minutes that Siobhan was talking about, that's the maximum processing time. You'll get more out of it. And make sure that you cover with a cap, just as you saw our marvelous friend Krista demonstrate so beautifully, and she even looks glamorous in it, so I hope you can too.
And can I add just one more thought onto that? When we're dealing with the little baby hairs around the hairline that are vulnerable, the moisturizers and anti-aging products, serums, masks, moisturizers that we put on our skin start to eventually get pushed up into the hairline just because, we're not that exacting with it. And it can actually protect those hairs, fortify them, and make them more resistant to color. So having nothing to do with your color application, also just be mindful that when you're doing your skincare, to try not to push that into the hair so that you're not giving the hair more protection. It's kind of weird. We don't think about it, but as it turns out, it's beginning to matter. So that's my one thought.
Excellent point. Thank you, Siobhan. Perfect.
All right, I think we're going to go to our final comments and statements here. The first is that we have a winner of our product prize, and the winner is Wendy Lowe from Connecticut. Has won a radiant cream color as well as a gloss. Congratulations, Wendy Lowe. Please check your email. And we will be sending you an email and telling you how you can get your free product. Congratulations. All right, this hair color house party is over, but the party continues. All right, how? Number 1, if we did not answer your question, you're going to see here on the screen an email. Please email us. Siobhan is going to answer your questions via email. Email us at haircolorhouseparty@madison-reed.com, and that way you can get additional questions answered. And also we will be sending you via email the before and after pictures of Krista's gorgeous hair. So you will be seeing the results from today's application. And then last but certainly not least, the party continues because next Wednesday we are having another hair color house party. That's November 18th at 5:30 p.m. Tell your friends, invite your friends, join us again. And you will see the instructions for how to sign up on our social channels. That means check Facebook, check Instagram under Madison Reed, and all the information will be there. From our home to yours, happy coloring. Stay well, stay safe, and see you next time. Bye, everyone.